Hello guys and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here then hi, my name is Kate. I hope you're all doing really well and having a great week. So today I'm going to show you all how I edit my Instagram photos, and this video has been so highly requested, so I'm really excited to be finally sitting down and filming it. So I'm going to take you guys through all the apps and all the tools that I use, and also just giving you all some tips and tricks with taking photos and just generally making your feed look more cohesive and just upping your Instagram game in general. If you don't already, make sure you go follow me on Instagram. And yeah, let's get started. So I'm going to do a little screen recording so you guys can see exactly what I'm looking at. Okay, this is my Instagram feed, and as you can see it's very neutral, blacks, whites, and I've also got quite a bit of green in there as well, which I'm really loving at the moment. And generally I try to keep my Instagram quite natural looking. I try not to filter anything too heavily and just keep it looking quite organic and authentic. I used to filter my photos quite a bit when I first started with Instagram, and although it makes your feed look so kind of neat and cohesive, I just think it can sometimes just make a photo look a bit unnatural and just not very relatable. So I've kind of just stopped using heavy filters. Actually, if I scroll down right to the bottom of my feed, you'll see what I mean. Okay, so if you look at my feed here, when was this? This was in 2019. It's just a lot more filtered. It's very kind of brown. So I have kind of moved away from that now. If I scroll back up to the top, you'll see now that my feed has a bit of a rhythm to it. So I'll do one standing, one close, one standing, one close, and I just find that this really balances out the feed, which is a look that I really like. If you're somebody who only likes to do far away photos, then that'll be fine, but because I like to do close and far, I just find it works best to alternate them. Here is my photography folder. These are the apps that I use. Visco, to be fair, I actually don't use Visco anymore. I use Snapseed, Unfold, Facetune 2, Retouch. I don't really use colour tone. Ever so rarely I'll use Light Leap. This is great if the sky is grey in your photos. You can actually just press the sky and it will put a nice blue sky in your photos. Tezza is my all-time favourite editing app. I'll go into that later. And then Canva I use for my YouTube thumbnails. Okay, so I'm going to start off with Facetune 2. And I'm just going to edit this photo here that I have already posted on my feed. The first thing I normally do is whiten the background just a little. Just if there's any yellow tones, I just like to neutralise those a little bit. So I'll whiten the background. As you can see, it's a bit yellow, and I'll just do the floor. Actually, if I turn it up, you guys will be able to see. There we go. And I'll just do the floor as well, so everything matches. Okay, and then as you can see, it looks far too white. It just looks really fake. So I will turn that right down to maybe 32. Perfect. Okay, and then the second thing I'm going to do, as you can see, I've got this all black outfit on, and in the photo, because it was quite a bright light, it's really washing out the black and making it look a bit more of a kind of washed grey blue. And in real life the outfit wasn't like that at all. So what I'm going to do is go into paint tool, select black, and then I'm just going to literally colour this in and make it black again. One thing I don't ever do is alter colours or alter anything that isn't there in real life. So for example, if this top was actually just a wash black, I wouldn't edit it, because obviously if somebody was to buy this top from my post and it arrived a different colour, that's false advertising. So I try and keep things really true to reality. And just darkening that all. I'll do my loafer as well. As you can see, it's reflecting the light a good bit. And right now it looks very, very, very black. So what I'm going to do is just reduce it to about there. And in my opinion, that just looks so much better. The black just pops so much more. It makes the outfit look more expensive and just looks a bit more kind of dramatic as well, which is always what we want with a all black outfit. And I do always smooth my skin over a bit, and that's purely because iPhone photos will always really contrast your face, and it just makes everything look quite harsh. So by softening it with the smooth tool, it just really makes it look a little bit more kind of delicate and less harsh. So I've reduced that again to about 60. That's all I'm going to do in Facetune. So I'll then save this, and then I'm going to pop this into Tezza. Tezza is my favourite editing app. I just think it's so good. I love the filters on it, and it just has everything you need in one place. Okay, so to edit this, I'm just going to up the exposure just a tiny bit, maybe to 2. And then my favourite tool on Tezza is the HSL. So here what I'll do is I'll select the blue, and even though doesn't look like there's any blues in this photos, blacks often look quite blue. So if I turn the saturation right up, you can see it's picked up a lot of black as blue, and I just reduce that, so take it to about -26. So the blacks again are just that really nice deep black colour. And the really handy thing about this is if you, like, say you don't have much of a tan and you wanted to be a bit more tanned, you can literally just turn the luminance down and it will give you a nice tan. But I think in this photo I look pretty tanned already. And you can also up the saturation, so I feel like this photo looks very washed out and there's just not a lot of colour in it at all. So you can just up the saturation of your skin tone slightly, so I'll put it to 5. And then the final thing I'll do is put a filter on it. I always use the vintage filter. I just think it makes, like, the whites this beautiful cream bright colour, and again it gives you a bit of a nice tan. So I will put this up to 13 maybe, and here is the before and here is the after. And I'll then pop this into Instagram. A really handy thing for Instagram is this adjust tool here. So you can crop it in slightly to make it where you want it. I always position my body in the middle third, and then I like to have a tiny bit of rib underneath my foot and about double that above my head. Another thing you can do is, say the person taking the photo wasn't the best photographer and they weren't getting your angles right. Like, for example, I know with my angles I have to have the phone absolutely dead straight like this. If it's at all tilted forward, I just look incredibly small, and if it's too tilted up, I just think it looks slightly too editorial and just doesn't quite work for me. So I like to always have it flat. But say on that day the person didn't take the photo that way, what you can actually do is you can go onto this left button here and you can tilt the photo like that. So as you can see, it's making me really tall, and it's just moving the camera like that. And then you can go like this and move the camera like that. But in this case I'm really happy with the angle, but you can always make yourself look that little bit taller just by slanting it like so. And then in Instagram I will always sharpen it to about 14. The thing is with Instagram is it really does reduce the quality of a photo, and I've literally tried everything to try and fix this issue, but the sharpening tool is kind of the best thing to fix it. So I'll do that, and then I will always add the Aiden filter, only a tiny bit, maybe up to like 13. And this just makes the black slightly brown and just gives it a bit of a softer look, which I really like. And I'll also sometimes reduce the contrast ever so slightly. I don't think it really needs it for this photo. Yeah, and that is everything I do really. So there's not a lot of difference when I press before and after on Instagram, but I feel like those really subtle things that you do just make such a huge difference. And then normally when I'm here, I will then screenshot it and pop it into this app here, which is called Unfold. And this is what I use to plan my grid out. So you just add the photo to the grid, and then I'll just pop this where it would go on my feed. So like that. And the reason I do this after editing is because I can then go ahead and compare it to photos I've already done and make sure the lighting and the editing matches up. The thing is with photos, they're always going to look different because there's different lighting, there's different things in the photo. So I always try and edit them to have the same overall result of the same light, just to make the feed look nice. So as you can see, the kind of cream matches the other creams in my feed. The black matches, and also my skin tone matches. That's another thing as well. Skin tone can look so different in different lights. Sometimes you can look really warm, sometimes you can look really cool, and I just like everything to match. So I can see that it matches quite well, so then I'll go ahead and post it. Okay, so that's just one example. I'm going to do a couple more just to show you a bit of a variety and show you different editing techniques. So I'm going to use this app here now called Retouch. I think you might have to pay for it. It might be like £1.80, but trust me, it is so worth it. I'm absolutely obsessed with this app. Okay, so I'm just going to select this photo here. And this is completely unedited, and the first thing that I'm looking at is all of these people in the background, which is just ruining the vibe of the photo. So what you do is you press click repair, and then you literally just rub everyone out, and it is so simple and so effective. Like, anyone can do this. Oh, actually I won't rub out the dog, that's kind of cute. You just press everyone and they literally disappear. I use this for everything. I use this for like road signs, I use this for like litter and stuff. If there's ever loads of litter on the floor, I will get rid of the litter. Like things like this make a photo just look so much more clean and just like prettier in general, I guess, as well. So just literally getting rid of all of these little people. Oh, and then this huge tent as well, that's kind of ruining the vibe. And then as you can see, like here, it actually hasn't done the best job. So what you can do is press clone stamp and then just clone an area just to make it look a little bit more like seamless. I actually haven't done the best job here, but you kind of get the gist. But yeah, how much better is that? Ready for the before and after? It's like magic. So I'm going to then save this photo and I'm just going to add it back into Tezza. First thing I'm going to do is up the exposure. It's kind of dark, so up the exposure to about 9. Again, going to the HSL tool, I'm going to get the blues, and as you can see, I'm wearing this like white shirt, and the white shirt looks very blue tinted, so I'm going to reduce the saturation. And this obviously does reduce the saturation of the sky as well, but I much prefer like a nice muted colour as opposed to like a highly saturated colour, so I think that actually looks nicer. And you can also adjust the luminance, make the sky brighter, darker. I might make it a tad brighter. You can also adjust the hue, so if you want more of a purpley sky or more of a turquoise sky, I actually like the colour, so I'm not going to do anything there. And then I'm just going to give myself a bit of a tan as well, take down the luminance, and then finally again add my favourite filter, the vintage filter. And this is actually a story, not a post, and I'll normally filter my stories a bit more heavily just because they're only there for 24 hours, so it just looks quite cool. So I'm going to put this up to about 26 and look at the before and after. I just love that so much. I'm just going to show you guys another pic. So this is one I did recently for New Look. And another thing as well, if you ever see like Instagrammers, bloggers always take photos in the same spot and you're wondering why, it's because lighting is honestly key to a good photo. When I have good lighting, I barely need to really edit. And this spot here, I just love the light. As you can see, the light is actually coming behind me because there's a shadow on the floor here. But what's happening is the light is reflecting on all of these like big white Chelsea houses, and white is an amazing reflector, so it then reflects back onto my face, giving a really nice subtle light, and I just think it's so nice. First thing I'm going to do is I can see all of this like green algae stuff, so I'm going to just whiten that, just reduce it slightly because again it just makes the photo look a bit more clean. I can also see that my tank top here, although it's like a nice white colour in real life, the iPhone has picked it up very blue, so I'm going to then whiten that and just reduce it slightly, so maybe there. I'm also going to whiten my shirt ever so slightly because it looks more of a cream here, and like in real life again it's more of a white. And then I might just whiten this wall behind me as well because it's a bit of a kind of greeny blue white. I'm also just going to smooth out my knee slightly because where the tan is a bit darker, just smooth out. And another thing you can do is smooth out clothes, so you can see here it's a bit crinkled, so you can just gently smooth out like shirts and stuff just to make them look a little bit more like neat, I guess. Okay, so yeah, before and after, just adjusting the colours really. So I'm going to save this again, put it into Tezza. It is slightly dark, so I'm going to up the exposure, seeing if there's many blues in here. And as you can see, the wall behind me is quite blue, but I don't really mind it, so I'm going to just leave that. And then I'm just going to add vintage again. Like, look how nice this filter is, so nice. And so yeah, quite a subtle difference here, but it definitely does just make that photo pop and just look a little bit more like Pinteresty, I guess. Okay, so the next app I'm going to show you is Snapseed. And I only really use Snapseed for one thing, which is this genius tool called Expand. So say you have a photo and you want it to fit a certain size and it's just not quite big enough, or you just want more negative space, all you have to do is just slightly expand it like that. And sometimes it makes mistakes like this, so you just go back and just do it little bit by little bit. It just gives you more space and it's actually genius. I haven't done the best job here, and I probably would go in and like retouch like here and stuff like that. I actually think this also has a retouch tool. Where is it? Oh yeah, healing. So if I just, yeah, similar to the Retouch app, you can also use it for healing. And then I'm just going to get rid of that bit of hair and sort that out a bit, and yeah, as you can see, it's now a bigger photo, which is so clever. So that's kind of everything on the editing front. I'm now going to give you guys some of my top tricks and tips. One of them being this, which is such a lifesaver sometimes. So make sure you take your photos on live, as you can see in the top left here, because what you can do is you can go edit, select the live button down here, and you can select the frame that you want. So say I liked this one, it's quite cute with my eyes closed, and I also wanted one of me like smiling with my eyes open, and you can save both frames. And this is just so handy, like if you blink or something, you can literally just switch to the frame before and have so many more like options. It's basically like taking a screenshot from a video, and honestly it's just so good. I shared it on my Instagram recently and so many people didn't know about it, so I thought I'd include it in this video in case you don't know. And then my final tip, which is probably my favourite one, and I don't think I've ever shared this one online before. The amazing Rebecca Spencer Photography actually taught me this, so I completely owe this tip to her. Basically what it is when I do a close photo, say I'm sitting down or something like that, I always find it quite awkward because I don't really know what to do with my hands, I don't really know how I'm sitting, and I just think there's a lot more to think about with a sitting photo compared to a standing one. So what I'll do is I'll get whoever is taking the photo to get out their phone. So you have your two phones and you're sitting down in front of them. You then go on to selfie mode on your friend's phone. That means you can see a mirror image of yourself and see exactly what you're doing. It just means you get into the perfect position, you know what you look like, and it just makes getting that photo so much quicker. So you're then snapping away with this phone and holding this phone, and it's honestly the best thing ever. I don't know what I did before it, but it definitely took me a lot longer to get the shot before then, and yeah, it's just genius. So massive shout out to Rebecca Spencer for teaching me that trick. And that actually brings me to the end of this video, so I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully you learned something new or something handy that you can use in your everyday Instagram life. I really enjoyed filming this, so let me know if you want me to do more of these kind of videos, maybe some more like tips and tricks on taking photos in public, taking photos at home, that kind of thing. Yeah, just let me know. So I'm wishing you all a lovely rest of the day. I love you all so much, and I will see you next time. Bye.